Good morning. Today is Tuesday, April 30. It's about 15 minutes after 8 a.m. The reason you don't see the clock in the lower right-hand corner is because what you are looking at is from March 15. And honestly, this is just something to look at instead of staring at the levels for today while I explain a few things. This was kind of an entertaining video for the day when I posted this back on March 15 because on these four contracts, I was able to pull over $4,000 on a trailing position. Well, I didn't even trail it. I just let it go down to a target. And I'll just let you watch this while I explain a few things. I had some ideas yesterday. Well, one, like many of you, I'm sure you use YouTube for research, and I have other interests and hobbies, and I look at a lot of YouTube videos, and as well as listening to audiobooks and while I'm driving in. And one thing I always do is I pretty much at a minimum, I set the speed to 1.5, somewhere between 1.5 x or 1.5 times the original normal speed to 2, so to 2x. And that's just the way I process the information. If it's the normal speed, it's just way too slow for me. So that's just the way I do it. So the other day, or it was last night, I was looking at a few videos and I went back to the normal just to kind of listen to it again. I realized it is so slow, and yet there are very few ums and ahs and misspoken words and little flubs. So I thought, because I definitely have a lot of ums and ahs and pauses, and yet I realized that I speak in these videos kind of the way I like to listen or like to hear audio. So I think it's probably smart just to slow things down and let it be up to you whether you want to speed these videos up. So this is a little difficult for me to kind of restrain myself, but I could probably get my thoughts out a little clearer and focus on the topics if I just slow things down a little bit. So while I explain that, I figured I'd let you watch this. And so going forward, I'm just going to slow things down, or try to at least. So before we get to the daily levels for today, the other thing I thought of is since I'm way behind developing this course, I mean, it's mostly done. I have focus groups right now reviewing the material, different levels, 3 different levels, completely newbie, like who have no concept or no prior experience in trading, much less the futures. The next level up, they understand the market, they trade options, for example, other equities, but have never traded futures and want to understand futures. And the third group is, I would call at least a couple of the guys professionals. They have been trading longer than I have, and so they know all about the futures, the E-minis, but they just don't know the strategy that I have developed. So that's where I want the feedback from that focus group is, does this make sense to you? Do you see value in this? So when this course comes out, it's more than just the fundamental, here's the basics, it's all the way to the advanced side of this approach. So while I'm doing this and I'm behind, I thought, well, there's no harm, honestly, in me putting this video, like the pre-video I make every morning with the levels. I make this, between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. And these levels are emailed out to my pre-subscribers, those of you who are interested and have given me your name and email address via the website. And that's great and all. Well, I could just post this in the morning for everyone, for anyone who stumbles across this. I'm not promoting this in any other way. It's just very new, of course, this channel, not a whole lot of views, but I'm not hiding anything. So, when we go over the trades in the afternoon, the good, bad, and the ugly, then you'll see, if anyone wants to try them themselves, then they'll have it, the levels. Now, understand that you don't have all the nuances of the rules and the procedures and the parameters of when to take trades, when not to take trades. What is your profit target? Well, a lot of this you should probably have gleaned by now that a 4-point base hit is the most common and the most probable to happen at these levels. But where the big question comes into where you're wrong, and do you reverse or do you just jump out at a loss? And there's things that I have that define those scenarios, and those are part of the rules. So, but if you have the levels, you can experiment. No one says you need to put real money at risk. You can trade a simulation or a paper account, or just do the micros. So anyway, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start putting these levels out in the morning, like this video. When I'm finished, I'll just put it out. It'll be a different playlist, and then I'll tie it in together with the post video, so we'll see the before and the after. So those are the kind of the two announcements I wanted to make, and nothing scripted here. I'm just letting this flow, and I do have levels calculated today, and I will say, maybe I'll just mention this when I get to the levels, that today and tomorrow probably will be slow leading up to the FOMC announcement, but I'll save that for the levels. Let's jump to the levels. Actually, before I do that, let's let this little recording play out, because I identified a level this day farther down below the one that had been satisfied in the morning before they got down to 508.55, and it was $4,500. There we go, 45.50, and they filled that, and that was the interim support that day, and they pulled back up. So the question is, how do you identify these levels? And that's part of this whole strategy, and they're pretty important. It's all about support and resistance, and when to take trades and when not to take trades. Let's jump to the levels for today. Again, it's Tuesday, April 30. It's 8:23 a.m. now. So the market opens a little bit more than an hour from now. So there are 5 levels on the board that we will use these levels to trade against in the E-minis. And it didn't point out yesterday, maybe talked through it, that we had a level right above. It was 5, 10, 18 or so, that after the market closed, the spiders just kind of shot back up and hung out at this level for a while. They've come a little bit lower in the pre-market currently. Of course, it's over an hour before the market opens, but the pre-market is currently at 509.90. And as I mentioned before, not too surprising to expect that since the FOMC announcement is going to be on Wednesday, the meeting today and tomorrow leading up to that tends to be pretty slow in the market. There could be some action in the morning, but I don't expect to see huge moves until after the meeting in the afternoon. I think it's 2 o'clock. I'll double check. It usually is 2 o'clock when that announcement comes out and the market starts going crazy. So anyway, so these are the levels for today. I will post this video under some type of thumbnail that I'm going to create, and I'll continue to do this. And if people come across these videos in the morning and want to take the levels and trade, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to be trading them, these levels in the E-minis, and we will circle back around to this chart and take a look at the trades in the E-minis that were taken based off of these levels. Thanks, and see you then.